The heavily scarred 10-ton weight limit and motor close quarters mixed battles on neighborhood streets. Experienced drivers can't even understand the complex traffic lights in urban driving. High-difficulty situations, taxi drivers and advanced drivers alike, can they withstand the test? Please control the vehicle. Organized driving has exited. The Chinese letter VLA world model, world engine and the latest chips with thousands of computing power sets. Can they take urban bracket experience to the next level? Hello everyone, welcome to Pacific Auto. Season 3 of the Bracket Mercedes Urban Assisted Driving PK. This time we gathered 11 models for the competition, including the Huawei ADS4 upgraded Wenji M8 bracket, 27 ALTA06, Blueprint Eagle. After more than half a year, finally the Tesla Phantom Model 3 FSD update arrives, along with Xiaomi G7 Geek 9X, Underground i8, Future S8, Ledo L90 Wi-Fi Lanshan. These popular models. To answer the initial question, we planned a nearly 100-kilometer test route in the Motor City Guangzhou, narrow bridge tunnels, complex traffic lights, chaotic urban villages, a test route even human veteran drivers find stressful. The price of achievement. To successfully complete the race, the driver's ability, scenario understanding and vehicle control are all indispensable. To control test variables, all vehicles' driving style and variation strategy were unified to the most agile gear before departure, and all systems were the latest versions fully pushed on test day. So what are we waiting for? Now we invite everyone to get in, fasten seat belts, activate navigation assistance and see their real performance. Urban assisted driving poses certain challenges to navigation assistance, roughly divided into 3 types: traffic light recognition, intersection passage and complex scenario passage. The first scenario is traffic light recognition. Learning to stop at red lights and go at green lights is simple and basic. Current bracket systems can understand basic traffic lights, but in urban areas there are some traffic lights that even veteran drivers may not understand. Can this system successfully handle it? The first traffic light intersection is an elevated bridge underpass with a dual light intersection with a turn area. To successfully pass here, it is necessary first to recognize the green light straight ahead to enter the turn zone. Once in the turn zone, to know if you can turn left, you have to look at another less obvious traffic light at the opposite intersection. Therefore, to pass this intersection successfully, each bracket navigation system must understand the control logic of the 2 traffic lights and which directions they control. To test if the system really understands these 2 traffic lights, test vehicles must pass the intersection first without a lead vehicle, lining up first at the intersection. First up is the Tesla Phantom Model 3. It successfully responded to the first traffic light and entered the turn zone. At this time the traffic light controlling the left turn is red, and the SSD accurately stopped before the turn zone stop line to wait. So far everything seemed normal, but before the light turned green this Model 3 was tempted by an illegal car on the left and also started moving, running a red light. The tester had to safely take over. Okay, failed. First chance, FSD was somewhat impulsive. To be fair, we gave it a second chance. Can it succeed? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The front light turned green and it should enter the turn zone, but this Moto 3 stopped on the spot and did not move. After waiting more than 5 seconds without any sign of starting, the tester had to take over. 2 chances for FSD and it still could not legally and autonomously pass the intersection. It is worth noting that in the second season of the Chicago large screen test, Model 3 was the only model to successfully pass this intersection. Before the upgrade it could pass, after the upgrade it failed. FSD, you messed up. The most peculiar performance was Xiaomi U7. After responding to the first traffic light and entering the turn zone, its steering was like a deer encountering its crush. The guiding line suddenly jumped unpredictably, the steering wheel suddenly turned sharply in the middle of the intersection. Such erratic driving clearly broke the tester's psychological safety line and was directly taken over. NIO ES8, Ledo L90, Geek 9S, Wi-Fi Lanshan all recognized the first traffic light and entered the turn zone successfully, but all without exception ran the red light in the turn zone and were safely taken over by testers. Oh, failure, directly ran the light, fail. Micron M8, Zhijia 27, Anuda G6, Bluehole G1, Li Xiong i8. These 5 models succeeded in autonomously entering the turn zone and accurately recognizing the opposing traffic light. Red stop, green go, smoothly completing the left turn. If the dual light turn zone intersection just now could filter out half the competitors, then the next split digital traffic light is an unsolvable puzzle that no vehicle could solve in the early second season. On the Jiangwen Bridge in Guangzhou's Old City, 5 traffic lights were set up to control 6 lanes to alleviate bridge traffic pressure. Light 12 controls lane 12, the lane coming down from the elevated bridge. Lights 3, 4 and 5 control lanes 3, 4, 5 and 6, lanes going up from the ground side road. Among them light 5 is the most special, controlling lanes 5 and 6. Just hearing the scenario description already sounds mind-boggling. In fact, even veteran drivers must think carefully about which lane they are in, which light controls their lane, and the current status of that light. Only by fully understanding these three questions can you successfully pass this intersection. To further increase difficulty, we required all vehicles to take the outermost sixth lane, which is the most confusing lane. There is a fork at the bridge entrance. If the system's path planning is not stable or precise enough, it will easily follow the lane incorrectly into the trap. In order, Tesla Phantom Model 3 was first to appear. The vehicle stopped in lane 6, controlled by light 5. Light 5 turned green and FSD immediately responded correctly and started moving. Facing the confusing fork at the bridge entrance, observing the SR interface guiding line, FSD had already planned the correct path up the bridge and passed smoothly. Such smooth performance even made the tester praise it. After half a year, Tesla successfully solved this unsolvable puzzle, showing that FSD is gradually learning and adapting to different regional road features and traffic rules. How did the Chinese bracket perform? Li Xiang i8, Geek 9S, NIO ES8, all three failed to accurately recognize the status of light 5 and directly ran the light. Xiaomi Ledo L90 recognized the traffic lights correctly and could stop at red and go at green. However, after the green light, both vehicles failed to plan their paths correctly, all entering the trap. Moreover, Ledo L90 showed unstable steering during driving, giving a subjective sense of insecurity. The most confusing performer was Huawei Lanshan. While stopping at the red light to wait for release, the system repeatedly warned of wrong driving direction. After green, the system did not start. The tester pressed the accelerator for assisted driving, but the system ignored the ground limit and illegally entered lane 5 on the left. Only 4 Huawei ADS4 equipped models remained. Any hope left? Alter 6 accurately stopped at the red light and responded to green light to start. After starting, the system directly found the correct bridge direction and smoothly drove onto Jiangwen Bridge, successfully passing. WGM8 Zhijia R27 Blueprint Eagle also accurately responded to green light and started, found the bridge direction, but all crossed the solid line at the bridge entrance, counting as a violation but still considered passing. The most thrilling performance was the one that, after responding to green light, drove toward the trap, almost entering it. The system then found the correct direction and suddenly changed lanes, crossing the solid line to return to the bridge direction. Compared to the early second season where no one passed, just 6 months later, the passing rate of the Jiangwen Bridge digital traffic lights is nearly complete. We can intuitively feel that with more advanced bracket architecture, intelligent driving has a deeper understanding of the real, irrational world and more in-depth comprehension of complex traffic rules. According to system schemes, only the special FSD and Huawei ADS4 solutions successfully passed Jiangwen Bridge's checkpoint this time. The other VLA world model-equipped schemes still need to work hard to fulfill their potential. The second type of checkpoint is intersection passage. Driving at intersections requires not only understanding traffic lights but also following the correct lane and avoiding other social vehicles. This tests the system's comprehensive ability. First is the main road where vehicles, pedestrians, and non-motor vehicles mix with a long left-turn intersection. To pass successfully, the system must find the intersection accurately, plan the route smoothly, and avoid pedestrians crossing the street and electric bikes weaving through. For this not-too-difficult checkpoint, almost all models could accurately find the intersection and plan a smooth path to pass. Why almost? Because there was one exception affecting i8. Although it successfully passed the intersection, the process was very struggling. First, it responded to the red light to stop. The i8 clearly stopped more than one car length from the stop line but chose to brake in place. Such a mysterious operation easily provokes honking from the car behind. Meanwhile, observing the SR interface, the rendered stop line jumped multiple times. Indeed, the lane markings at this intersection were recently changed. The left turn lane was extended and the stop line moved forward. We suspect the system used some insufficiently updated data, leading to misjudgment of the stop line position and premature braking. After starting on green, the vehicle's trajectory was unstable and competed with vehicles in the right lane. The Li Xiang i8 showed a noticeable stall in the middle of the intersection. Although it eventually passed autonomously, this kind of success was a shadow of failure. Second intersection checkpoint is from Shihua Road turning to Guangyun Expressway, a typical construction detour combined intersection. The first intersection is main road to auxiliary road right turn, located at a downhill with hard isolation road edges. making the intersection features not obvious and easily missed. The second intersection has incomplete ground markings and an inconspicuous reverse left turn. To test real map recognition, no lead vehicles were allowed in front. Overall, the results were pleasing. Except for Ledao L90, the other 10 vehicles accurately identified both intersections and passed autonomously. As for Ledao, why is it always involved? In the early second season revolution, Ledao L60 exited navigation after autonomously passing the first intersection due to functional limitations. This time Ledao L90 showed a similar but more thrilling situation. While in navigation mode, L90 found the first intersection, but just entering the center of the intersection before the steering fully straightened, the navigation function suddenly exited without warning. More importantly, the sudden exit lacked prominent sound or visual alerts, significantly increasing driver reaction time, causing the vehicle to deviate from the center line before the driver realized the need to take over immediately. Both the timing of exit and the system's human-machine interaction safety redundancy were clearly insufficient, leaving room for design improvement. The last type of intersection checkpoint is U-turns, a relatively complex urban road scenario. To smoothly complete a U-turn, the system must perceive road structure, plan paths, and negotiate with other vehicles. We selected two representative U-turn scenarios, protected U-turns controlled by traffic lights and unprotected U-turns, to test the 11 vehicles' urban autonomous navigation U-turn abilities. First, the protected U-turns with traffic lights. Tesla Phantom MOTO3, Huawei Skynet i8, Xiaomi Pre-Expectation, 7 vehicles performed very steadily, accurately responding to traffic lights and successfully completing U-turns in the dedicated lanes. Geek 9S ran the red light without stopping and was taken over by the tester. Huawei Lanshan and Ledao L90 both failed to start after green and needed testers to press the accelerator for assisted driving. Also, Ledao L90's path planning was unreasonable. The U-turn position was too far forward and it crossed the guiding line for the turn. As for the full hardware and software-equipped Big Brother NIO S8, after entering the U-turn lane, although the front was clear, the system froze for a long time in the middle of the road. The tester had to assist. Upon reaching the U-turn point, S2 popped up a text reminder requiring manual U-turn. This shows the current NIO World Model version's pure autonomous navigation does not support handling such unprotected U-turn scenarios. If unsupported, why not warn the user earlier to take over? Freezing and sudden reminders prove that forcing it has no good results. There is also a common U-turn scenario called unprotected U-turn without traffic light protection or dedicated lanes. Except for NIO S8, the other 10 vehicles could accurately find the U-turn exit and stably let the opposing vehicle autonomously complete the U-turn. Among them, Wenji M8, Zhijia R7, Altamilio, Blueprint Eagle and Li Xiang I8, after completing the U-turn, first move into the leftmost lane of the opposing vehicle, reducing impact on other road users, a detail worthy of praise. As the vehicle with the strongest hardware and computing power, NIO ES8 precisely duplicated its previous poor performance, freezing at the U-turn exit again. After honking from the rear, the tester assisted driving. Observing the SR interface during assisted driving, the guiding line did not enter the U-turn exit area. Seeing it was about to miss the intersection, the tester took over to manually complete the U-turn. After reviewing all systems' intersection passage performance, next we look at complex traffic scenarios. Narrow bridge tunnels, underground roundabouts, mixed motor and non-motor traffic, construction detours, non-standard road conditions, testing each urban autonomous navigation system's ability. The first scenario is the bridge tunnel from Guampu West Road to Yushu North Road. The tunnel is narrow, with high contrast lighting inside and outside, which interferes with camera perception. The narrow two-way lanes, broken vehicles and randomly appearing two-wheel electric bikes challenge the system's ability to handle dense interactive scenarios in narrow spaces. Can the latest urban navigation hold up? Without suspense, the only vehicle that failed was Ledao L90. During L90's passage, the tunnel was actually quite empty with only a few non-motor vehicles. Unfortunately, when bypassing the broken vehicle, L90's steering was very large, causing the left side of the vehicle to cling to the curb and freeze for a long time. The tester had to assist driving. The other 10 vehicles all passed the tunnel smoothly and completed the detour successfully. Among them, Wenji M8, Zhijia R7, Blueprint Eagle and NIO S8 all encountered oncoming vehicles during the tunnel passage, posing greater danger but still successfully handled it, worthy of extra praise. Meanwhile, Geek 9S, the widest vehicle at 2.03 meters, also performed well in this narrow passage. Even while bypassing the broken vehicle and encountering oncoming vehicles and electric bikes, the system stopped smoothly and restarted without obvious stalls, passing successfully. The second complex scenario checkpoint is the underground roundabout on Yanjiang Avenue. Compared to regular surface roundabouts, underground roundabouts have lower brightness and narrower lanes, further testing the system's perception and negotiation ability. All tested vehicles will enter from surface roads, drive half a circle inside the roundabout, and exit from the second exit. Of the 11 cars, 10 passed successfully. Wenji M8, Zhijia R7, Blueprint Eagle, Ultra 6, NIO Ease 8, Geek 9X and Huawei Lanshan performed the most steadily. They not only relied on smooth path planning and robust negotiation ability to pass autonomously but also obeyed surface markings and drove lawfully throughout. The remaining Tesla Phantom Model 3, Li Xiang i8, Xiaomi pre-expectation also passed but all showed illegal lane usage when exiting the roundabout. The only model failing the underground roundabout was still Ledao L90. Ledao Urban Bracket Navigation still does not support underground roundabout passage and requires human driving to downgrade before entering. The second complex scenario checkpoint is lane width at the junction of the industrial zone and urban roads, set to block oversized vehicles from crossing a bridge. The lane width here measures about 2.3 meters. For new energy vehicles nearly 2 meters wide, only about 10 centimeters remain on one side. Even veteran drivers find it stressful passing here the first time. But can autonomous navigation pass? Li Xiang i8 and Geek 9X both stalled before 10 tons and showed unstable steering during assisted driving, causing takeover due to safety concerns. Please control the vehicle, assisted driving exited. Huawei Lanshan's SR interface explicitly prompted the driver to control the vehicle at the width limit. When the tester took control, the navigation function exited immediately with prompts to control, takeover. Wenji M8, Zhijia R7, Li Xiang i8, NIO Ease 8, and Ledao L90 all required full accelerator input to pass, giving the system signals and were assisted throughout. Facing such an extreme scenario, only 3 vehicles passed autonomously in the end. The best performer was the narrowest vehicle, Tesla Phantom MOTO3, which smoothly passed the width limit without braking. The other 2 were Huawei candidates, Lantong Eagle and Ultra 6. Lantong Eagle didn't fully stop but lightly braked twice and passed smoothly. Ultra D6 hesitated at the width limit, but every time it hesitated, it could autonomously restart and finally passed. To challenge Guangzhou's characteristic traffic environment, how could we omit the old city's mixed pedestrian and vehicle traffic? This time, we brought 11 vehicles to Guangzhou's famous old town Dongshengku. This about 1.4-kilometer one-way narrow street passes through military and civilian zones, a primary school and street shops. On such a narrow street with heavy traffic, overly conservative driving strategies ensure safety but reduce traffic efficiency and invite frequent honking. Overly aggressive strategies face many pedestrians and non-motor vehicles, raising risk. Balancing efficiency and safety is crucial here. Moreover, during our passage there were construction detours and stopped vehicles, increasing difficulty. So we gave each vehicle 3 assisted driving opportunities to see if they could seize them. The first to appear was Tesla Phantom MOD3. FSD's scenario understanding and vehicle control are recognized strengths, but this time FSD's performance was obviously subpar. In the construction zone, facing construction detours, oncoming wrong-way motor vehicles and a sanitation worker invading the lane, FSD froze. Attempts to bypass failed and the tester had to take over. Okay, take over here. Even in the final direct turn, FSD showed slight stalling, was honked continuously by the car behind, and the tester had to take over again for assisted driving. Facing this highly typical Guangzhou dense interactive scenario, FSD still needs practice. Xiaomi pre-expectation had the most takeovers, initially following a suddenly stopped car but failing to reroute timely. After assisted driving, it still struggled and was taken over quickly. Passing the long intersection, compliance problems appeared, directly moving into the opposite lane. Finally, at the right-angle turn, pre-expectation tried a racing line cutting the inner corner but was taken over at lightning speed. Please control the vehicle, assisted driving exited. Why did the tester react so quickly? Because these were learned lessons. The reason for i8's failure was ignoring ground markings at the long intersection, driving across 2 lanes, and conflicting with a normal left-turning bus, causing a stall and takeover. Another 3 vehicles passed by rules but showed some problems. Future ES8 deserves praise for zero takeover throughout but braked heavily facing an electric bike invading the motor vehicle lane near the primary school. Moreover, braking timing was clearly late, starting only when the bike was alongside the vehicle, causing an unstable subjective feeling for passengers. Ally younger brother Ledao L90's biggest problem was detouring. Ledao L90 handled detours very stiffly, making occupants feel the system was flustered. It was overly sensitive to electric bikes passing close, fully stopping whenever approached. At the long intersection, it also drove across double lanes, giving passengers a poor sense of security. Geek 9S, passing the primary school zebra crossing, encountered a pedestrian clearly intending to cross but neither stopped nor slowed defensively, directly charging through. Handling vulnerable road users this way on special road sections is very reckless. At the long intersection, it again ignored ground markings and drove across double lanes. Wenji M8, Zhijia 27, ALTA 6, Blueprint Eagle and Huawei Lanshan all earned MVP at this checkpoint, passing fully autonomously with stable performance. From the initial construction zone to the mixed traffic long intersection and the narrow direct turn, they never gave testers a chance to intervene. From this, it is clear that in facing local special traffic scenarios, domestic bracket navigation has a real advantage in localized training. The last complex traffic checkpoint is bridge underpass construction detours combined with irregular intersections. Construction detours test system ability to handle chaotic ground markings and surrounding irregular obstacles, requiring precise road structure perception and reasonable compensation for missing ground markings through other vehicles' behavior. Construction creates irregular overpass intersections, testing system lane ability and requiring strong negotiation skills in busy traffic with diverse people and vehicles. Can you guess who passes? Careful observers noticed one stable Huawei bracket team member dropped out, R506. Although it passed stable 4-lane construction detours ahead, after responding to the light and entering the irregular light-controlled intersection, due to lack of ground marking guidance, the system failed to plan correctly. SR showed it was not in the correct lane and downgraded to LCC, so the tester had to take over manually for a left turn. NIO ES8 had a similar case. Construction detour passed, but at the light-controlled intersection bracket navigation suddenly exited to manual mode. Geek 9S planned the correct turn path before entering the overpass intersection but froze after entering, requiring assisted driving. The most ridiculous was Ledao L90 failing both scenarios. In the construction detour turn facing continuous oncoming vehicles, L90 froze for a long time, requiring assisted driving. Then the system misplanned the route, attempting to enter the opposite lane and was safely taken over. Just after rebooting navigation and before leaving the detour area, the system showed signs of trajectory rush, with the front crashing into the right construction barrier, again requiring emergency takeover. Not done yet, at the last light-controlled intersection after responding to lights and entering the center, the system failed to find the target intersection. SR guiding lines jumped repeatedly. Like the older ES8, the function suddenly exited again and the driver took over. 1 checkpoint, 3 assisted driving attempts, 3 takeovers. Such data can make testers' mental shadow area huge. Additionally, during testing, AVTA NIO ES8 and Ledao L90's function downgrades or exits occurred suddenly without clear warnings, greatly reducing driver reaction time and risking assisted driving safety, worthy of attention. Facing such difficult scenarios, Tesla Phantom MOTO3, Wenji M8, Zhijia R7, Blueprint Eagle, Li Xiang i8, Xiaomi Y7 and Huawei Lanshan all successfully passed construction detours and S-shaped light-controlled intersections once continuously. They accurately perceived road structure changes on S-shaped construction sections and stably generated driving trajectories on the S2 interface, smoothly passing detour zones. At light-controlled straight intersections, they correctly responded to temporary construction signals and found the hidden opposing intersection, successfully completing left turns. By the end of 2025, many models' navigation brackets have integrated with parking capabilities, enabling driving directly from parking spots to destination spots. Among the 11 vehicles except Ledao L90, all theoretically support parking-to-parking function, but whether it works well is another matter. So we designed a test route from indoor parking to outdoor parking to check usability of parking-to-parking functions. Vehicles with memorization and spot collection features all pre-learned and collected routes, prioritizing use. Among failures, Geek 9X pre-memorized the parking route, but after 24 hours and 40 hours waiting, the backend only approved the outdoor destination route. The indoor departure route was not approved, causing inability to leave autonomously. NIOE's 8 could not activate navigation inside parking spots, compared to pre-expectation, which failed twice to accurately find an exit, getting lost in the parking lot. Tesla Phantom Model 3 can activate FSD in the spot, and the system can autonomously leave the parking lot via roaming function. But since domestic FSD cannot link to automatic parking currently, it cannot park into the destination spot. Finally, 6 vehicles successfully completed parking-to-parking navigation assistance. They had high accuracy in route planning for both entry and exit and smooth automatic parking connection, giving a high subjective willingness to use. However, the best experience still belongs to the 4 Huawei-equipped vehicles, as many parking lots have official Huawei maps and rely on official data. These 4 vehicles can directly use parking-to-parking function without pre-learning, greatly improving usability. As usual, at the end of the urban large horizontal test, we prepared a bonus segment, Nail-Breaking Mountain. We chose this mountain road from foot to peak, 2.1 kilometers long with 2 challenge points. 1. Uphill U-turn test for large curvature path planning. 2. Tree insertion test for irregular road split response. First, regarding navigation coverage, NIO S8 and Ledao L90, this 7 brothers pair, could not activate navigation on this mountain road and directly quit. Running the whole route, Tesla Phantom MOTO3, Xijia R7, Geek 9S, Li Xiang i8, Xiaomi E7 completed it fully under navigation function. Other vehicles had function interruptions mid-route. For the first challenge, the uphill U-turn, only Tesla Phantom MOTO3, Xijia R7, Blueprint Eagle Ultra 6, Li Xiang i8, Xiaomi E7 passed smoothly. Geek 9S clearly passed the curve, but the system misrecognized the intersection and entered the wrong fork, requiring takeover. Wrong. Wenji M8's path planning on the U-turn was unreasonable, steering was too late, completely missing the curve center and stalled, needing takeover. Huawei Lanshan gave up decisively, downgrading before the U-turn and making no useless effort. The final tree insertion, an inconspicuous obstacle, was still very difficult. Only Tesla Phantom Model 3, Xijia R7, Li Xiang i8, Geek 9X, Xiaomi pre-expectation and Huawei Lanshan successfully passed under navigation assistance, relying on precise road structure perception and reasonable path planning. Geek 9X, the widest vehicle, deserves particular praise. Despite congestion during passage, pre-expectation faced adverse internal and external traffic factors but overcame them with excellent path planning and space utilization to pass narrow spaces successfully. In April, we released the second season results of the Pacific Auto driving test comparison. Compared to the driving assistance tests 7 months ago, some scenarios previously considered extremely difficult or complete failures now have a batch of models passing successfully. This concretely reflects rapid progress in driving assistance capabilities and continuous improvement in experience. After more than 8 years of iterative evolution, some brands' intelligent driving assistance shows stronger abilities facing variable road environments, better understanding of traffic rules in complex scenarios, including various road participants. Thanks to longer temporal reasoning and prediction capabilities, systems can respond more safely and reasonably. Undoubtedly, such progress results from new algorithm architectures like VLA world models, world engines, and advanced large computing power chips. While acknowledging progress, we must also clearly point out some issues discovered in this test. First, marketing must be rational. New concepts don't equal new capabilities. Since the second half of this year, automakers began another round of algorithm innovation. Presentations boast supposedly more advanced, higher ceiling, powerful, breathtaking large model architectures. When we try with high expectations, the results sometimes disappoint, even worse than previous versions. This helpless feeling reminds us of 2 years ago when the industry shifted from modular rule-based algorithms to end-to-end architectures, causing chaotic user experiences. Therefore, marketing should be rational, letting the public realize that driving assistance development follows gradual objective laws, not rocket-like sudden leaps. Only by managing expectations can progress be steady. Users should be gods, not guinea pigs for manufacturers to accumulate data. Algorithm switches causing experience turbulence should not be silently borne by consumers. Assisted driving requires safer interaction design. Through human vehicle testing, we see rapid progress, but it's still not autonomous driving, and human vehicle cooperation will remain necessary. Although as early as February this year, the Ministry of Industry and Information Technology's Intelligent Connected Vehicle Product Access Guide clearly proposed assisted driving exit specifications, requiring reasonable time for drivers to react to system failures or boundaries. Some vehicles in this large screen test still showed passing the buck exits. The system worked 1 second and suddenly died the next, handing control to the driver without clear, effective warnings. Therefore, we call on all manufacturers to pay attention to human-machine interaction design for assisted driving downgrade or exit. Before functional status changes, clear effective reminders should be given to increase safety after takeover. Rational promotion and non-passing the buck human vehicle cooperation design are key for users to safely use assisted driving. The goal of assisted driving comparison should never be competitors but humans. Only when interaction experience surpasses human veterans can it be truly practical. Chinese subtitles provided.